Hey guys, Josh here, and I played Skystead Ranch so you don't have to. This new farming and creature collecting game just launched on Steam and Epic Games. It's also coming to the Nintendo Switch in March, and in this video I'll show you how my first few hours with it went. Thanks to the small team of developers at Toasty Labs from the UK for sending me a Steam key so I could check it out with all of you, but sadly, as you'll see, this needed a lot more time in the toaster. It's always hard having to do a video like this, but I hope the feedback will help the developers. I want players to spend their money wisely. Leave a like if you get something out of it, but for now, let's dive into Skystead Ranch. We're on version 1.0.0. I'm pointing out that this is a full release, but depending on when you're watching this video, some things may have gotten improved or changed. This game is $24.99 US dollars, $32.50 Canadian, and currently on sale for 25% off. I create a new save file, I choose a name for my Skystead, then I'm being offered to check this box for the sandbox mode. Of course, I know what a sandbox mode is, but the game gives absolutely no explanation as to what it means specifically for this game. Does it give you infinite money, access to all of the decor items from the start? Does it unlock all of the areas? That is a mystery and will remain a mystery because I want to experience the default mode. So I just click on the Begin Journey button, and here's the best part, the peak of Skystead Ranch. We have an animated cutscene of a ship flying through the sky. All of it is being narrated by this guy who has a great accent. He's doing a fantastic job at telling me about the Skylets, these little creatures I will be seeing around the world.
Look, there's a Skylet over there, and there are plenty more where that came from.
The narrator also happens to be this book, the field guide. So I will be using him to track my findings, and he's going to guide me through my adventure, or at least at the beginning of it. The best part of the game is now behind us as we arrive on the Skystead. I still don't really know why I'm here, what's my backstory or my purpose, but this is me with my gray face, extremely bright and sparkly blue eyes, purple hair, and my blue and orange outfit. Yes, I know there is a lot going on. No, I did not skip the character creation screen. That is just who you get to play as. The tutorial begins. The first thing is learning how to walk with WASD. It feels a bit floaty, maybe the gravity is different here in the skies, but it's nothing I can't get used to. I learned how to zoom in and out with the camera. I can also move it left and right freely, but I cannot move it up nor down. So if you're wondering why I never once look at the sky in a game that has a sky in its name, it's because I can't. As I'm staring at the ground, I notice it's looking very dry, and I don't want to look at that for the entire game. So using my crook, this magic staff, I start terraforming and changing the cracked earth into regular earth. So I just walk and click around and do that until I'm at 30% of regular earth. Then the narrator, the book, tells me to check the notice board.
There it is. Look how it shows you the tilled earth that you've just put down.
That camera shot only had one job and failed miserably, but after that I can actually look at the board and see the percentages for each type of soil. Now I'm told I need 20% grass. So it's the same process. I take out my magic staff and I turn some of the regular earth into grass. By the way, do you notice anything different right now? Yes, the notice board has become the noise board. Skylets are starting to noise my nice grassy island, and they're quickly appearing. Meet our very first one, Shelly.
If you have a closer look.
Before Shelly can feel at home and start wandering in my garden, we need to remove junk. That is also something I can do with my staff. I simply need to go near trees or rocks and to click on them once for each of these little green orbs. As I do that, I'm collecting wood and stone. I can use some of these to build fences. I place down a few, but I get bored of it pretty quickly. I need some action. Let's go skydiving. I approach the edge of the island, ready to jump, but this sign pops up from underground and pushes me back on the grass, ruining my plans. Now I'm told that I have to build a sky pier here, and based on the sign, it seems to require 3 wood and 3 stone. It's a lie, it actually requires 9 of each, as I need to interact with the sign 3 times for the pier to build itself. I'm not too sure about the purpose of these extra steps, but I now have the perfect spot for skydiving. Nope, I still can't jump, but things might get exciting as I am seeing this ship coming in. The narrator is hyping it up. I'm trying to have a good look at it, but like I said, I cannot move the camera up. so I only see the bottom half of the ship, like in those old cartoons that would only show the legs of certain characters. It's quite frustrating to be honest, but to make things up, I now have access to a shop where I buy this dig spell that I use to dig holes so I can start my favorite activity, farming. My magical book companion gives me 25 sparkles. I don't know if that's how they're officially called, but it's the currency, and I can use these sparkles to buy crops. So I buy this red berry for 20 sparkles and this carrot for 1. Alright, I'm ready, let's farm. The tutorial wants me to plant a red berry specifically. It says put the red berry in the hole while holding item left click. Okay, I'm not holding anything right now, so I probably just need to open my inventory. First instinct, I press tab on the keyboard, but that opens up the book, no items there. Escape opens the menu, still no item there, but let's save just in case. I then go on to press every single key on my keyboard, but I cannot find a way to open my bag. I look at the settings, I notice some not cosmetic but cosmic options. With how much they're avoiding T's, you would never guess these developers are in fact British. Seriously though, there is nowhere to see or change the controls. I almost gave up on the game right then and there, but I decide to check the shop one more time. I can't afford berries anymore, but I get a carrot. Who knows what happened earlier, but now the carrot is in my hands, and I'm holding it as hard as I can. Turns out, there is no inventory, you just carry items one by one, which is fine, there are great games built around this mechanic. I just wish the game explained it, or told me what happened to the other stuff I bought. I won't be forgetting this, that berry was expensive, but for now, I have to move on. Each carrot can be planted twice, I left click on 2 of the holes I dug, so now carrots will grow there. That's it, I don't need to water them or anything, I just have to wait. In the meantime, I go pet a few of the shellies, now they're giving me some sparkles and I save up enough to buy a red berry again. I hold it very tight and I make sure to go plant it before anything happens. Now my next quest is to feed a shelly, but while I'm waiting for the berry to grow into a bush, let me work on my fields a little bit more because shelly likes when there's no cracked earth left and no junk. After cleaning things up, these rabbits appear and my carrots are ready. Rabbits love carrots, so let's feed them.
There we go. Shelly seems quite happy with that.
Shelly? What do you mean, Shelly? Giving the carrot to the rabbit somehow completed my quest to feed Shelly. It is odd, but I don't think much of it. I spend another 15 minutes putting down more grass, petting the skylets, not too sure what to do. Then I start to wonder, why do I no longer have any quest? Did I break the game? Did I do something wrong? Was there a bug? I'm not too sure, so I decided to load my save file from earlier. The screen stays like this for over a minute. I'm thinking the game is about to crash for sure. But the devs are one step ahead. They took the time to write on the loading screen. It hasn't crashed. Just give it a minute. So I give it a minute, and after that, there's a second loading screen, which says, if you think the loading screen is fun, wait until you see the game. I like the confidence, but to be honest, I'm not having that much fun so far. You guys are lucky you get to skip watching me doing the same thing all over again. I now have a berry and I give it to Shelly. Despite all of that, I still don't have any other quest. It was not very clear, but I guess that's just how the tutorial of this game ends. So let's try to make all of the Skylets as happy as possible. They all have their own requirements, but typically they don't want cracked earth or junk. Some will want a certain number of plants, things like that. Going back to our rabbits from earlier, their official name is Buttontail.
Shelly.
Wait, that's the one the narrator gave an identity crisis to? Here's a normal Buttontail.
Buttontail.
Just like Pokemons, the only thing Skylets can say is their name, which is a bit cute at first, but it does get annoying very quickly. So for Buttontails to be happy here, they want 0% of the land being cracked earth. I'm working really hard on it. I'm currently at, let me check, oh yes, 0%. The game is not showing any decimals, maybe it should. I can only assume I'm maybe under 0.50% of cracked earth remaining, and the game is giving me absolutely no leeway. So I spent an infuriating amount of time inspecting every corner of my field, finding a tiny square of cracked earth here, fixing it, only to find myself still at 0%, but not 0% enough for the Buttontails. Eventually, after a lot of hard work, I do get it right, and the rabbits are slightly happier. By the way, right now, the only way I can obtain sparkles is by petting the Skylets, having to sit through this long animation, all while listening to their name. So most of my time in this game is just spent walking around trying to fix the tiniest patches of dirt and petting the same creatures over and over again. After a while, I have 150 sparkles, and with that, I go to the shop and buy a bridge repair. If you're watching this and you're like me, you might be wondering, why does the shop look so different now? With a new ship, we still can't fully see, and that's a great question for which I don't have a great answer. From what I can tell, there are two versions of the ship that alternate day after day, but the actual shop is the same. Anyway, after buying the bridge, I have to fix it with 5 wood and 1 stone, times 4, and now I have access to this new plot of land. It's the same thing all over again, but this time, I'm being more careful about not leaving any square of cracked earth. I change all of it to regular dirt, then all of it to grass. I remove all of the trees and the rocks, and skylets start appearing. This entire process is quite time-consuming and not fun. In a game like No Place Like Home, cleaning up feels satisfying. In most farming games, cutting trees is exciting, whether it's because of the sound effects, the animations, or the materials that you get, but here everything I do just feels pointless. I'm slowly feeling empty inside, and I ask myself if I even like video games. I clean up an area to unlock another area to clean up another area, but when do I get to the cool stuff? Where is the reward portion of that gameplay loop that should motivate me to keep going? It's also worth pointing out this is not necessarily a flaw, but there's no stamina, no energy, no limit, restrictions, or challenge to anything I'm doing. I'm just going around changing dry dirt into wet dirt, and then into grass to attract creatures that I then pet over and over again to get a bit of money to unlock another area where I'm going to repeat the same thing. And I wish the creatures would help me farm, bring me unique items, but they all do the same thing, so what's the point? Maybe I'm missing something, let's try to befriend them a bit more. So I plant some more carrots, which is so tedious as they require you to dig a new hole every time in order to replant them. But after feeding a few more to this Shelly, it changes colors. So at the start, all of the skylets are gray, but once you fully befriend them, they become colorful and start generating a lot of sparkles on their own, which is great. So I go around and I feed as many of them as I can. Each skylet has different likes and dislikes that can be discovered and added to the field guide by giving them different food, but I only have berries and carrots, so things are pretty simple for now. Speaking of field guide, skylets often have these little icons with a pencil above their head. If they have this icon and I pet them, I will get a notification telling me that my field guide has been updated. It says that, but whenever I look at my field guide, I'm not noticing any difference. So as I play, I keep seeing these icons popping up all the time. I pet the skylets to get rid of them, but it doesn't seem to be doing anything most of the time. So overall, I'm just not very motivated to take care of the skylets, nor to collect all of the different ones. I need to do something different. Let's try decorating. I go to the shop and buy a blueprint for a gravel path. Placing them feels a bit clunky. I'm also noticing they're consuming a lot of stone, which is not that fun to collect. So after 2 or 3 paths, I stop myself and reflect. I love decorating in games, but to me, this is usually a bonus feature to make a fun game even more fun. Fields of Mysteria, I enjoy playing it, the core gameplay loop is engaging, but from time to time, I will need a break, need to change things up, and I will spend some time decorating my farm. In that game, basic activities such as gathering materials are actually fun, and on top of that, I can use those materials to craft cute furniture, and that makes the whole thing very rewarding. But here, the gameplay loop is not convincing me. Making money and gathering resources is not fun. I don't care much for the skylets. Why would I want to decorate, you know? I'm not too sure what to do at this point, but there is now an option for tall grass at the shop, so I buy it to try it on my second plot. I got excited, however, it looks like I went a little bit too hard on the tall grass. As you can see on this board, I now have 42% grass, 1% dirt, hopefully no one minds that 1%, and 57% tall grass. But bottom-tails are not happy as they need over 45% grass, and tall grass doesn't seem to count, so I no longer have enough. I'm only 3% off though, so no big deal, I work on that for a bit, and I'm now at 49% grass, and 50% tall grass should be fine. I check up on bottom-tail, but no, it still says I'm at 42%. I walk away, come back a minute later, the board has not changed. 49% grass, 50% tall grass. But now, bottom-tail says I have 97% grass. Bottom-tail is happy, that's the most important, but at first, tall grass was not being included in the count, and now somehow it is. It's also obviously not being counted right because 49 plus 50 make 99, not 97. This game does not have that many different mechanics, it has a very simple premise, but everything feels messy like this. Instead of playing the game like I would play any other game, here it feels like I'm fighting against it, fighting against these errors and inconsistencies and just trying to get everything to work. It's not easy on my morale, but I keep going to see if things will get better. I save up 400 sparkles, which allows me to unlock the mine, where I am hoping to mine. I wouldn't call it mining, but I can pick up these little gems that either transform into wood, rocks, or sparkles, because these are really the only 3 resources in the whole game. No matter what you find, doesn't matter if it's a gem, or even these purple thorns unique to this area, everything gives the same stuff. So this new location is pretty much like the other 2, but the book hints at the fact that Skylets who prefer night might show up here since it's dark. Again, I change all of the cracked earth into regular earth, then grass. Let's see who shows up. Shelly is here, as always, surprisingly fast for a snail, but I want something new. I go back to the shop and they're now selling devil's lettuce, along with a few other new crops. I would buy all of them, but I can only carry one thing at a time, so let's start with the devil's lettuce. The holding animation decided that was enough. She's resigning. From now on, things I buy will just float inside my chest. I return to the mine. The loading screen says poggers in chat. Maybe it's a sign I'm getting old, not exactly sure what it means, but poggers in chat if you're still watching. Then it says waiting for GTA 6. Again, the game is very self-aware of its numerous and long loading screens. And it seems like I got very lucky the first time because as I get inside the mine, I walk forward a little bit, opposite of the exit of course, but then there's a loading screen and it takes me back right outside. Did I do something wrong? Let's try that again. I go back in. I'm in there for 1 second, it takes me back outside. It seems like when you get inside the cave, it teleports you right where you would usually go to exit, so you get stuck in this loop of going back in and out of the cave. I'm wondering how much playtesting they did for this game, but I just do the same thing over and over again, and the loading screens are becoming increasingly snarky, with remarks like,
"Wow, your device sure is taking a while with this."
"Wow, well, good luck with your Switch port." They didn't like that response and they let me in right away. I plant my devil's lettuce. The book tells me to keep an eye on it, but I'm not gonna stay here to watch a plant grow. I have to go to the shop quickly to get something else. I'll be right back. This time, I buy a mushroom, this adorable crop that grows cotton candy and marshmallows on it. Sweet, I head back to the mine, and it takes me 5 attempts to get in. 5 times of getting kicked out of the cave, forced to wait here with this loading screen, and we're not getting along very well. I do eventually figure out a little hack. It is to hold down the W key during the loading screen. It will make you spawn farther away from the exit. So I'm finally into the cave, and after this whole incident, guess what? My devil's lettuce is gone, and so is my patience. Here are the mushrooms. Were they worth all of this trouble? No. The only thing on my mind still, the only thing I want to do is skydiving. I really wish I could fly away from here, but I'm stuck. Stuck on this island forever with nothing fun to do, no quests to follow, just stuck in an unsatisfying loop with a loading screen that's trying to fight me. Stuck like this red berry, my long-lost berry floating in the sky that I must have dropped by accident after buying it on my first day because I left-clicked to interact with the shopkeeper, and that is the same button used to throw stuff. So I don't know what you're planning to play while waiting for GTA 6, but there are far better options out there than Skystead Ranch. I wanted to give this game a chance. At first, I was hopeful thanks to the voice acting and the lovely cutscene, but then everything went downhill. I want to end this video on a good note, however, so let me suggest you a few alternatives if you like the concept of this game. If you want to create different biomes and fine-tune the environments to attract the right critters, Horticulture can be very addictive and it has so much content. If you want a creature collector where you can also farm and decorate, Moonstone Island is amazing. It makes you want to collect all of these creatures and the combat is fun. Paleo Pines is not perfect, but the ranching is interesting. Each dinosaur has different needs. They are fun to care for and they all help you in different ways. Lastly, I've seen a lot of people comparing this game to Viva Pinata. Sadly, I've never played it, always wanted to. It still looks great after almost 20 years, so I have no doubt it must be a lot of fun. Let me know what you think of Skystead Ranch. If you're looking for more disappointing farming games, I have a playlist that should fill that need. Leave a like and subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Shall we?